Hey guys, stop destroying your health while you're still young. If you think your body can handle anything right now, listen to this guy for a minute.
I'm 27 years old, and honestly, if you saw me a few years ago, you probably would have never imagined that I'd end up in a hospital this early in life. But right now I'm being treated for several health problems at the same time. My liver has been damaged, my kidney function has been affected, my digestive system has been inflamed for a long time, and the cervical spine in my neck and shoulders has developed serious issues. The doctors told me this isn't a terminal illness, which is the good news. I still have a chance to recover if I take treatment seriously. But they were also very clear that recovery won't be quick. It's going to take a long time of treatment, major lifestyle changes, and even physical therapy just to get my body back to a stable condition. And even then, the doctor said something that stuck with me. Things will never fully go back to the way they were before. At some point, I'll have to learn to live with the consequences my body has accumulated over the years.
So this didn't just happen overnight. It sounds like your body had been carrying the damage for a long time before you even realized it.
What really makes me think now is that nothing suddenly happened. There wasn't a single day when everything collapsed. It happened slowly, little by little, day after day. And at the time, I didn't notice it at all. I work in IT, and most of my life basically happens in front of a computer screen. A normal workday starts in the morning, but it rarely ends on time. 10 hours at the computer felt normal. 12 hours wasn't unusual either, sometimes even longer. At first, I didn't think it was a problem. I was young, I had energy, and I honestly believed my body could handle it. Staying up late gradually became part of my routine. Some nights I worked until 2 or 3 in the morning, then woke up the next day and did it all again like nothing happened. Looking back now, there's something else I realized. When work pulls you into that kind of cycle, it becomes really hard to notice that you're living the wrong way. The people around me lived the same lifestyle. Everyone was busy. Everyone stayed up late. Everyone drank coffee just to stay awake. And when everyone around you lives like that, it starts to feel normal. Nobody talks about health. Nobody talks about slowing down. All we talked about were deadlines, projects, and the next task that needed to be finished.
That's actually something a lot of people can relate to. When everyone around you lives the same way, it stops feeling unhealthy. It just feels normal.
Sleep slowly became shorter and shorter. Eating also became careless. Some days I just grabbed whatever food was convenient. Fast food, instant meals, delivery. There were days when I drank more coffee than water. Sometimes energy drinks were the only thing keeping me awake long enough to finish my work. At the time, I kept telling myself the same thing. This is temporary. Once work settles down, once life becomes less busy, I'll start taking care of my health. But that later never came. And the few rare moments in my day when I actually wasn't working, those should have been the moments when my body could finally rest. But instead, I usually made things worse. Instead of sleeping earlier, exercising, or simply letting my body recover, I filled those hours with habits that were even harder on my health. I met friends for beers, ate heavy food late at night, or sometimes just sat in front of another screen playing video games for hours because I thought it helped me relax. At the time, it felt like I was just enjoying the little free time I had after long, stressful days. But looking back now, I realized that even the moments when my body had a chance to recover, I used them to keep wearing it down. After a while, my body started sending clearer signals. I began having stomach pain more often. Some mornings started with a slight nausea. My digestion felt off almost all the time. But I always had a simple solution for that. I ignored it. I told myself everyone who works hard feels this way. I thought maybe I just needed a little rest and things would go back to normal. And this is the part that feels scary when I think about it now. My body had been warning me much earlier than I realized, but every symptom came with an easy explanation. Stomach pain? Probably bad food. Constant fatigue? Probably just work stress. Trouble sleeping? Maybe temporary pressure. Every signal had a reasonable excuse, so I never took any of them seriously.
That's kind of frightening, actually, because those explanations all sound completely reasonable in the moment.
Around the same time, my neck and shoulders started hurting more often. At first, it was just stiffness from sitting too long, but slowly the pain spread into my shoulders and upper back. Some days the pain was strong enough that I had to lean back in my chair just to keep working. Instead of getting up, stretching, or taking a real break, I would rotate my neck a few times and go right back to typing. There were days I worked through that dull pain for hours simply because I believed finishing my work mattered more than how my body felt. There was actually a small moment before the day I ended up in the hospital that I still remember very clearly. One morning I stood in front of the mirror and realized how exhausted I looked compared to a few years earlier. My skin looked pale, my eyes had dark circles under them, and my body constantly felt heavy. For a brief moment I thought maybe I should go get a health check. But a few minutes later I opened my laptop and started working again like every other day. Looking back now, I realize something strange about people. Sometimes we know very clearly that something isn't right, but we still choose to ignore it because we don't want to change the way we're living. And then one day, my body finally stopped cooperating. I was working like usual when suddenly I felt a sharp pain in my stomach and lower back. Not the dull discomfort I had before, but a pain that made it hard to even sit upright. I started feeling dizzy, cold sweat running down my back, and a strong wave of nausea. At first, I still thought maybe I just needed to lie down for a while, but a few minutes later, I was already on my way to the hospital. After the tests, the doctor explained what was happening. My liver had been damaged after years of unhealthy habits. My kidney function had been affected by long-term imbalance and too much caffeine. My stomach was severely inflamed because of irregular eating, and the cervical spine in my neck had developed serious problems from sitting with poor posture for years. That's why now I have to go through physical therapy just to restore normal movement in my neck and back.
And hearing all of that from the doctor at once, that must have been a pretty shocking moment.
One thing the doctor told me stayed with me. Your body can endure a lot, but it never forgets what you do to it. The good news is that I still have a chance to recover, but to do that, I have to change almost everything about the way I live. I have to go through physical therapy for my neck and spine, fix my sleep schedule, change the way I eat, and learn to stop before my body reaches its limit again. What really stays with me is not the illness itself. It's the fact that my body warned me for a long time, and I kept ignoring it. I always believed I was still young. I always thought my body could handle just a little more, until the day it forced me to stop. If your life looks anything like mine used to, working too much, sleeping too little, eating whatever is convenient, and always telling yourself you'll take care of your health later, maybe it's time to change something now, because sometimes your body can tolerate bad habits for years. But when it finally pushes back, it pushes back hard.
He's only 27 and already rebuilding his health from the ground up. If this story made you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe if you want to hear more real stories like this.